Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people that want the best info, but just don't have the time. Get your podcast fix with the Cliff Notes versions of your favorite podcasts. No fluff, just the actionable golden nuggets. Having this much knowledge at your fingertips should be downright illegal. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with Satori Prime. Here's your host, Ilan Ferdman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Performance Enhancing Podcast with your host, Ilan Ferdman. I have just something that's on my mind, and I just wanted to make a short podcast about it because I think it brings up a bit of an interesting question or inquiry that you can have both with yourself and the people that you surround yourself with to figure out what is your unique selling proposition, but from a personal standpoint, not your business, okay? So like I've told you guys before, I'm part of a pretty amazing mastermind with some of the most amazing human beings, and I was at a dinner yesterday with one of the guys that created the mastermind, and this guy Brent is absolutely amazing, and I kind of acknowledged him for what he's done for me, because we were talking about moments where our business kind of took off and moments that we had to kind of make decisions as an entrepreneur to kind of shut the door behind us and make that choice. You know, am I moving in this direction, or am I kind of quitting and going back to something a little more sane, right? Because it's insane to be an entrepreneur. It's not easy. It's difficult. It's arduous. There's a lot of hurdles that you have to face along the way, and everything in your core and everything in your mind is always screaming to run the other way, because safe and secure is what the brain wants. It doesn't want the unknown. And so we were sharing these stories, and one of the things that I shared was that the first time I was at the event with this mastermind back in last December was really the moment that I think for me something finally shifted. It's like all the work that I'd done before had led me to that event. And what I shared was that when I was there, I was in a room with, 7, 8, even 9-figure earners, and Guy and I's business was starting to kind of take off, but we were nowhere near the results that some of the people in the room were creating. And I remember looking around and just being like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I don't belong here. Now, how many of you have ever been in any interaction or room setting where that's the first thing that comes to mind? Well, guess what? It's not unique to you, okay? It's a human phenomena. It is your brain's way of keeping you safe, okay? Now, here's what I do to kind of alleviate that, and you can steal this and use this. It works every time. I believe that there are no accidents. None. Personally, I think everything happens for a reason. Now, when you find yourself in a specific room, it's no accident that you are there. If you are in that room with those people, trust me, you belong there. You might not have a fucking clue why, and that's fine, but you belong there. And you doubting for a nanosecond that you do not belong there is what keeps you not belonging there. I'm going to say that again. It's your thought process of you believing that you don't belong there that has you not belong there. Because I guarantee you that other people aren't looking at you going, well, John doesn't belong here. What the hell is he doing here? No one in that room looked around and thought, you know what, Elon doesn't belong here. The only person that thought that was this stupid brain. Not stupid brain, but the voice inside your head. Monkey brain, whatever you want to call it, right? That's the only one. If I interviewed every single person in that room, none of them would have said that. You get that? So that's really important. When you walk into these rooms, just have that in mind. There's no accident that you are there, and you are there for a very specific reason. Maybe you don't know what it is, but you belong. And here's the cooler part of that. The better the people in the room are, that should be a massive insight to you, like, holy shit, this is the network that I belong to. This is my circle of influence, right? Now, that might be a reach for you, or you might be like, damn, I don't understand why. It doesn't matter. If you are around these people at that moment, guess what? That speaks volumes about who you are. Because if you belong in a circle of that quality of people, you are that quality of people, whether you want to believe it or not, right? So that moment to me was pretty amazing. Now, so I gave up that conversation, right? And I spent, I think it was about 4-day event, and I spent 4 days intimately with about 25 people. Not intimately, you know what I mean? Hopefully. And what I found was that I was able to provide tremendous value for every single person that I interacted with. Every single one. In fact, certain people came up to me and was like, my highlight of the weekend was the conversation with you. Now, guys, these are 7, 8, 9-figure earners. So I walk away and I'm thinking, holy shit, I can make a difference for 7, 8, and 9-figure earners. Who the hell do I think I am that I'm not willing to share like this with everyone? What right? How selfish. And so that for me was a moment. I remember being on the phone the week after, and I remember then being on trainings with my brother, and he's like, I don't know what the hell happened to you, but you're different. And I explained to him the story, and he's like, I totally get it. Because I was coming from a place of, you know what, all the work and all the stuff that we'd learned and been working on, etc., I knew was in there. I just still thought I didn't know shit. And when I got into this room of 7, 8, 9-figure earners, I'm like, you know, we learned a lot of stuff. Like, we learned stuff that can provide value for all of these people. Who are we not to share this? And that's really what started kind of our, massive rise since that time. So why do I share that with you? Because still, you know, the voice is always there, right? It never shuts off. But now here's why I brought this up, because I said to you before, I'm going to explain to you how you can find your personal unique selling proposition, right? So before I say that, the way you perceive yourself, okay, is not the way you actually are. The way others see you is the way that you actually are. However, we don't want to listen to others, because when someone says to you, you're amazing, or you're great, you're an amazing speaker, I love the way you listen, the way you hear it is not what they said. The way you hear it is like, no, I'm not really that. If they only knew who I really was, then they wouldn't be saying that stuff to me. Right? That's kind of what ends up happening. And so you deflect all of these people from honoring you with who they believe you are. And instead of living in the world that they see you as, you tend to live up here, which is worthless. So I want to give you an exercise, and I want to ask you that when someone tells you something about yourself, that you take it on and you live your life the way they see you, not the way that you see yourself, okay? Now, the reason I bring this all up is because I was texting with Brent afterwards, and I was saying, you know, it was awesome to see you yesterday, etc. And he wrote, and I quote, he wrote, unbelievably awesome and energizing to see you. The funny part is that everyone in this space and everyone in this group of ours always somehow said something about my energy, right? And so I wrote back to him, I said, I never thought of myself as having some unique energy, but almost every person has described me that way. Very interesting. And this is what he wrote back. And I wrote that because the first reaction as he said that was like, what the fuck? Like, what energy? Like, you know? And then I realized, look, not me, their perspective, right? Take that on, etc. So I acknowledged it and I responded, you know, thank you. And then this is what he wrote back. And this is kind of what set this podcast off. He wrote, you totally do. You're the most positive and uplifting man that I know. You are relentless with the love you give to others. You're a very bright star, my brother. And the only thing I can think of, as I am now, just absolutely like, right, is Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much. That means a ton coming from you. Now, I could have deflected that, right? But again, from what I told you just a second ago, that right there is my personal, unique selling proposition. You get that? I don't have to go and write copy. I don't have to go figure shit out. I can literally ask the people in my life, people that I respect and trust. If you listen to the podcast, I don't know if it was one or two ago, when I was talking about what Sean Stevenson said, like, how does he take criticism? Well, you can take acknowledgments the very same way. Depending on who the person is, you can kind of map it. Okay, do I know this person? Does the person know me? Do I care about and respect this person? Do I trust this person's guidance? So Brent, in my world, covers all of those bases plus, right? So when he says something like that to me, that goes to the deepest core part of me, because I know he's not just saying shit to blow smoke up my butt. Like, we actually have that kind of relationship. Now, that's an amazing gift that he just gave me, because now I know that that's the way I'm quote unquote perceived in the world, right? As someone who's energizing, uplifting, positive, giving people love. And you know what? If I kind of look at the way I operate in my day, those are actually in my conscious mode, when I'm not running autopilot. That's my intention, is to give love, to give positive energy, and to wake people the fuck up. So if you've listened to any of these podcasts, I'm hoping that you're kind of left with a very similar thing. And I'd love to actually hear from you guys. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys my personal email address, okay? It's Elan, I-L-A-N, at satoriprime.com. Right behind me if you're watching on video, satoriprime.com. Elan at satoriprime.com. I would love to hear from you guys how you perceive me. And look, if you think that I'm an asshole and I rant a lot and I curse too much, whatever, I want to hear that too. Okay? I just want to hear, what is it that you think that I provide you, kind of in that way that he did, right? Like energizing, uplifting, constantly giving love. Short, simple, like not some crazy bio of who I am. And then what I want you to do is actually start interrogating people in your life about that stuff. It will make your presence in a room when you walk in there so much more powerful, because you are now going to know that that's where you can contribute to people. And guess what? It comes naturally to you. It's not something I have to work on, right? This is just the way I operate. I do not have to turn something on. I don't have to wake up and put on a special pair of underwear or whatever to be this way. This is just who I've developed myself to be. And it's now it's like I created it and now it's coming back to me. So I want you to just go through this exercise, start inquiring, what is your unique selling proposition, your personal unique selling proposition? Because the next time you walk into a room, if you know that, then I guarantee you this whole thing about not belonging or what the fuck am I doing here it will be a thing of the past. You know that you can walk into that room and deliver on your unique selling proposition, because that's who you are. End of story. How cool would that be to walk into your next networking event or sales meeting or, whatever, and have that grounded into your being, so you know that that's who you are. So that's what I want to relate to you today, because it's an amazing gift to have that in your life. And it's an even better gift to share with others once you know what that gift is. Okay? So that was it. Short, sweet, to the point, hopefully today. As always, love you guys. Thanks for listening. Truly humbled by this whole thing. Love getting messages from you. Love reading the comments and the ratings on iTunes. And again, would love to hear from you specifically on this episode, whether you want to go to iTunes and leave a rating, or if you want to email me personally, Elan, I-L-A-N, at satoriprime.com, and let me know what I provide for you. Would love to hear from you guys. All right. Have an amazing, amazing day, everyone. We'll see you on the next Performance Enhancing Podcast.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Performance Enhancing Podcast. We've taken this pep talk and created a custom action guide so you know exactly what action steps to take now to grow your business. Just head over to satoriprime.com/podcast and download it for free. Also, please leave a comment and rate this podcast on iTunes. It'll help us get the word out. Thanks for listening. Now, go and implement. We'll see you next time.